I could have went to both of them, and I'm not going. I just don't feel good enough, okay?
Like the way you did something, do it
You know?
over.
I
get it.
Yeah.
You look fantastic.
Well, thanks, buddy. I went to the Rams game, you know, for our last meeting I had. That was my
So
last
you look so
official ticket. That was my last official ticket I had, was the Rams tickets. But my buddies keeps getting them, so.
I'm gonna just sit tight. I think I'm gonna go.
By the way, I love this whole 6 o'clock there.
Once we get further into it, we'll get a better feel for
How things going for you?
I feel like we're on
Rossi.
firm ground
So I'll just do it.
At least you get this figured out in the whole Rossi name?
down the road a little bit.
You guys never talked about it?
We did once, but it's not the same.
It's not the same? Yeah, too bad.
So are we on?
You're
Yeah,
Everybody,
sorry,
Pick the right name, though.
you're out.
please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Brew,
Here.
Kramer,
Yep.
Mangini,
Here,
Ferraro,
Here.
Pop.
Can you get the names right? I mean, if you're gonna just use the last,
Mangini? Did I say
Mangini,
it
really?
wrong?
Menegini.
Menegini?
Manini.
I've never said it.
And it's Mr. and Mrs. to you.
I'm gonna do a lot here, Jeff.
I'm moving on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Hold on, I gotta,
I'm helping with this too.
all right, where are we? Agenda.
Like, I grew up with all these people. Want me to say their names and stuff, or?
Okay.
We're approving
I can do roll call. I can do roll call.
agenda. Okay.
Want me to do roll call? You want to?
Oh, I can do it, don't worry. Brew,
Here. Yes.
Kramer,
Yes. Menegini.
Menegini.
Yes.
Ferraro.
Yes.
Pop. Mr. and Mrs. to all of you.
Move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 19th, 2022.
I make motion to approve the regular meeting of December 19th, 2022.
Support.
Oh, let's see, that was
Scott and Rico.
I wasn't here, so I don't really want to support anything.
Brew,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Menegini.
Gini. Yes.
Menegini.
Menegini.
Mararo,
Yes.
Pop.
Yes.
So who,
I make motion we approve
Scott
closed
and
session meeting
Rico
minutes of December
supported.
19th, 2022.
those are the minutes.
Support.
Okay,
Same on the next one too, Dan.
all right.
You slotted with a name, you're done.
I know, I'm probably going to. All right, we have to, let's see, the manifest?
No, closed session.
Oh, closed session minutes, okay, so. Okay, and we had, who motioned that?
Motion
Scott
by
and
Pop,
Rico.
second by Menegini.
Also been Menegini. Brew,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Menegini,
Yes.
Mararo,
Yes.
Pop.
Yes.
Approval of manifest 2023-01. Scott, did you have any questions?
I had nothing prepared.
I have none, thank you.
Nothing, Madam Mayor.
Rico?
No questions, but just as an aside, what I find would help me, I don't know if this helps anyone else, but helps me when looking at this number, if I could see where we were at last year too.
Yeah, we can do.
You know, year-to-year kind of comparison, you know, so we.
Month to month?
Month-to-month, yeah, a month-to-month comparison, so we could see if something's really out of, you know, out of normal. That would probably give me the opportunity to dive into, you know, why a little bit more often. But yes,
I have one question on 2 of 3 under electric utility, professional service, Mead and Hunt, professional service, Sturgeon Dam, 249. Scott, I don't know if you were here for that, but is that when we went offline?
For meat and hunt?
Yes.
No, it shouldn't be.
That might
I
have
believe-
just, go ahead, Scott.
I'm trying to find where it is right now.
Page 2, it's just, professional services.
$249.
$249.
240. I don't have an answer for you as to what.
You can
what
get
that
it
is.
for me, that's fine.
But yeah,
No problem.
it's gonna be compliance side of the
Yeah.
house. That's all they're really doing for us right now. But I'll get that for you.
All right. That's all I have.
That's a question you had a couple meetings ago.
Okay. Do I have a motion on manifest 2023-01?
I move to approve manifest 2023-01 in the amount of $127,277.36.
Support.
Brew,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Menagini,
Yes.
Mararo.
Yes.
It's the only way I'm gonna be able to remember to do it. Pop.
Genie, not genie. It's not it's not something you rub and something pops out of it, okay? It's a genie.
Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes. We have nothing. We'll move on to appointments and presentations. Downtown Development Authority, Dan.
So we have another interested person for the DDA, Kenzie Williamson. She's been recommended by a couple other members on the DDA. As always, it's great when we have people interested to volunteer their time. And the DDA is recommending that the council approve her sitting on the DDA.
Do I have a motion?
We got an opening? Yeah, we do?
Yes.
We had an opening?
So it's great to see somebody
Yeah,
put in
it's
for
awesome.
it.
I agree that we could be a cute pop in town as well, as listed.
Oh,
I believe Norway could be a cute pop in
yeah.
town.
I saw
Poppin'?
that.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, we can pop in.
Really?
Yes.
Cute, dude?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll motion that, the open DDA position go to Kenzie Williamson for an appointment of 1 January 2023 to December 2025.
Brew,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Menagini.
Yes.
No, Menagini.
There it is. There it is.
Mararo,
Yes.
Pop. Menagini. It's gonna be in my dreams.
Genie, not genie.
Menagini.
That was.
Genie bad.
All right. Action items, we'll move on, extension of real and personal property tax winter deadline. We do this every year, we extend it, it's nothing new. The extension is to extend them to February 15th. And then after, on February 16th, there'll be a 3% penalty, is that right?
Yes.
As listed.
And anything after March 1st will be a 4% penalty. So the extension now, without a penalty, is February 16th, 2023. February 15th.
What's the reasoning behind the extension?
It gives people a little bit longer in the winter time, you know, bills are a little bit higher and stuff, so we do it every single year.
So guys, just the wording on the recommendation. The recommendation is that the deadline for payment of winter real estate property tax collected by the city be extended from February 15th to February 28th. Is that not kind of confusing to everybody? To me, that looks like it says no penalty till after the 28th, if I'm reading that, Mr. Attorney. It looks like we're extending the 15th deadline to the 28th in the wording of the recommendation.
Well, then if it's different than what's in the memo portion, then that would be the correct.
I mean, there would be, you'd extend it from the 15th to the 28th without penalty.
Okay.
That's what
So
I'm-
I wasn't
yeah.
saying it right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without penalty.
So that's what I'm
The
saying.
intention.
And that is what the intent is doing that?
That's my
I believe so, yeah.
So
that's
Madam
what I-
Mayor just had it a little bit wrong.
I did.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
because I was reading the top part.
That's why I brought it up, Ken. So the intent is to get this pushed out to the 28th, and anything after the 20th, so March 1st, you're late, you're paying 3%.
and you pay it to the county. We can't collect after February 28th. So you pay your.
Yeah, you pay the county after the 28th, correct?
Yes.
But we're extending it, once again, just so everybody's on the same page, we're extending this from the 15th to the 28th with no penalty.
And then 28 dollars.
Is up to, right, okay, good enough.
Does that sound right, Natalie?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That was a little confusing with the top part.
Yeah, you're welcome. Way to go.
Thanks.
That's two now. You got one more tonight.
So do I have a motion on that?
I move that the deadline for payment for winter real and personal property taxes collected by the city be extended from February 15th, 2023 to February 28th, 2023.
Support.
Brew,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Menagini,
Yes.
Mararo,
Yes.
Pop.
Yes.
Yeah, you're smiling now, eh? All right. Feel
Move
pretty
on
good.
to electrical vehicle charging station upgrade, Eagle.
Yes. So this was just something that was brought to me by the state about would we be interested in removing our current station and adding 4 new ones with a higher ability to charge quicker. You know, they do cover a decent amount of this project, but with the project estimate being between 600,000 and 800,000, it would still cost us between 120 and 160,000 to do it.
What's the ROI on it?
Not great. I wouldn't even call it an ROI right now. If you look at our, you know, I got a couple quarterly reports from our single station, which I believe has 2 chargers. It's idle typically 90+% of the time. Now, whether that's because there's one there and they drive by and they don't use it, I just don't think it's.
There's a big shortage for them, but it ain't here.
Well, and Scott and I kind of
Not yet
talked
anyways,
about it.
exactly.
If this, you know, if EV charging picks up, I'm not sure our downtown facility would draw people in. I think they're probably gonna go to different service stations, like a gas station. is
Station.
Oh,
probably
there,
not gonna
I would think ours would be an intermediate
Downtown.
kind of thing. You know, it'd be government first, right? As you do hit that period between where, you know, the private sector catches up with the need, they'd be
Right.
used. But you're right, I think, once they start putting them
I
in
think they're gonna be
as gas stations or
right
whatever you
on,
wanna
yeah.
call them, you know?
I'd like to see some type of study on summer, winter. 'Cause I know winter, you're getting less of a charge, so people that have them can't get it. Here,
Yeah,
or
no doubt.
prepaid or whatever, you know, they only get 200 some miles on a charge during the winter.
And I would say this,
Save the winter.
Scott, and to your point, the fast chargers are what everybody's looking for. You know, you don't wanna sit there for 4 hours if you sit there for, you
Right.
know, an hour and a half or whatever the heck it
And I
is,
think
right?
eventually every gas station's gonna have one.
They're gonna have them.
Yeah, I think eventually it's, you know, right now, if you kind of Google EV stations coming up here, our current one doesn't even show up, which it should, so that's one thing we're
I
gonna
thought
do.
Ray was supposed to have, I thought
Yeah,
that was all
that was
taken care of.
also-
Well, I just looked, it didn't, I looked at it today.
We're on there because we had our number, we're number 28.
Really? Because I just,
We had our number
yeah.
even before that, before we even had the meters, because I was on the DDA when we did that.
Yeah, I did it on Google Maps today, and it showed here to Green Bay to here, and it showed chargers in Green Bay, but nothing. I can look at it again.
Then Crystal Falls isn't on there either.
Until recently.
I'll have to look at it, see, maybe I missed it. But I mean, I think, yeah, it fits our brand, if you will, having chargers. But with budget coming around, this was just really something, is council interested?
Not 150, not 150 grand out of
We
pocket.
have a lot of
I
projects.
mean, if they were gonna give us the money to do it, and it costs us some labor or something like that, fine.
Yeah,
You know, but I don't see it as a good investment for the city.
no.
It's not the ROI type stuff we're looking for.
There, no, this is, the ROI financially
Yeah, it's bad.
is not there.
Yeah.
There's other projects that we certainly could do
That are way more
over
important.
this. And if things really pick up one day and we wanna install more, we can look at it.
Yeah, I think we keep it on the back burner and we look at it down the line, see how
I mean,
things
we
are
might
moving
not
with
get
it.
80% covered, but,
I will say this, the private sector it's gonna take them a lot longer than people think. You know, you've gotta get that electric infrastructure to support those chargers at those stations. And we all know, Scott, we all know what that's like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big dollars to do it.
Just to echo a little bit, there's zero ROI on this thing at all.
Yeah.
And I guess the only reason we're bringing it up is do you have a better pulse or a better understanding for what the pulse of the community is. Is there a drive for this? Are people like really proud of it? On the economic development side of things, maybe that's the only thing you could argue is that it brings some people in. But quite frankly, it doesn't get used that much. It is getting better, but it's still. If you put 4 of them in, you're not going to get 4 times the amount of use. You might get 10% more use,
Which makes no sense.
I do notice someone there, but once in a while, but they're sitting in their car too. They're not.
Why are we not on the map?
I'll look into it.
Mayor says we are.
I just happened to Google it.
We're not.
So we're not on. I don't think we're on Google Maps, but apparently that's not what these people are using.
There's an app.
There's an app.
There's an app for electric car owners that has like all the charging stations throughout the country.
True, but
And I know we're on that.
And we have our own number, we have a number way before.
Right.
We're on that. Apparently they're not using Google
Yeah,
Maps for.
but still, it should be on everything, you know why? Because, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I did see a charge point on Google Maps in Green Bay, and that's the company that we use, so
Yeah.
we should.
Maybe we can look into
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna look into that part of it.
A little extra Jim, on that part.
I will also say if it ever came out that there was a big interest in adding one more, when we put that one in, we put the provisions in and the conduits, all that's
Yeah, the
there
infrastructure's there.
to add another one. Which we could do significantly cheaper.
And that's what's gonna happen to the Sitkos of the world and some of these others that wanna start getting charging stations in at the convenience stores. They're gonna have to work with the power companies and they're gonna have to put the infrastructure in, and that's big bucks.
Oh, it's huge. It's
Big,
huge.
you know, you're talking you might be talking substations and stuff for some of this crap, you know?
In Green Bay.
So that's the problem with the EVs right now, for using them over the road.
Yeah.
If you come home and plug them in every night, it's great, right? Terrific
Right.
for your commute. But if you have to travel and you have to build that infrastructure for that, it's not there yet, you know?
All right, we'll move on.
Just let it die.
Yeah, I can,
We can just move on, right, Grant? Move on to item 4, City Hall UPS battery backup replacement purchase request.
yay.
Dan?
So,
Good conversation.
we replaced these actually recently.
That's what I thought.
And so according to Chris at GoTech, in that Christmas Eve power outage, it fried the backups. I think basically what he says is they can't detect when power comes back on now, so they won't trip on or off. So if we want
So you get a
our,
module and replace the module. These things aren't modular. I mean, that should be a part of the thing, right? You'd expect that to, I don't know what he set us up with, but usually on these type of things, when they're this expensive, you have that piece that has that surge protection, and if it fries, it's replaceable. So you don't lose the whole unit.
Yeah, we replaced them not very long
yeah,
ago.
we did. I mean, this is, again, I'm not an expert on UPSs, but it sounds like that surge went beyond what it could trip. So right now, I think we have one that'll give us an hour. Really, I mean, it was a little more than I expected to see for that. That's where we think, maybe it may be an insurance claim rather than purchase. Right now, I'd rather maybe look at the insurance portion of it and get a little more understanding of the UPSs before we spend $7,000.
Can you find out?
8,000. By the way, you start talking $8,000, you start talking about a backup generator, for God's sake.
Well, that's the other thing.
Put cheap surge protection in and throw a backup generator somewhere,
So
and you're done.
when we had
I
that.
could be paying $8,000 every time, we get a surge down here and they blow the stuff out.
So when we had that power outage over the summer, we met Scott and everybody to kind of go over that whole scenario and what happened. And what we came away with was looking at a FEMA grant to do the generator, to do power. So that's something we're waiting for and working on. And of course, that would supersede the need for any of this.
So just to give you a little insight on the importance of this, what we had discovered in that summer outage was how critical the server is in the basement.
Yep.
When that server crashed after being out for, I don't remember the time frame anymore, it basically rendered the hydro inoperable at the time. They were struggling to get it back on because all the communications went through that server. So this is, if the UPS is indeed bad, it is a very critical component to have secured. Now, it creates a bigger conversation as far as getting a backup generator and what that all looks like. We looked at it years ago, and it was upwards of $60,000 to have a backup generator. That could power the entire building.
Right, we're not
Maybe
looking, we don't need that.
Right.
Yeah, we
Maybe
looked
you
at
need
a
something that's
downside.
We need that to power the servers, all we need.
Right.
Yeah, and we're kind of looking as
Unless FEMA wants to give us the money to do the whole building.
Well,
They
and we're
would have put
looking-
something in between there.
That's what I'm saying, I don't understand this. This is, and you've been gone a long time, but I wish you know, if I'd have saw this, I can't believe this is the setup we got. It's that critical, and these things only last so many hours anyways.
That's why we replaced them. Well, yeah, right now, we only had 2 hours of runtime.
Right.
And then we added more to get more time.
Right, but what, that's like throwing, why don't you just get your own generator and put it in there? So you don't have to spend this kind of money on multiple battery. I'm not saying this
Yeah,
is your
no, that's-
decision,
yeah,
right?
That's what we discussed.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, guys.
And you don't even know what we paid for them back then?
They were, I think it was 3. It wasn't that much. I'll tell you that. So I think we do
But guys,
have-
if it's, what all I'm saying is if it's mission critical and we're getting 2 to 3 hours out of these batteries, and the outage is out for, if we're out longer than 2 or 3 hours, we're gonna be dead in the water anyways. That we're not a problem with hydro.
Yeah.
So it's just a Band-Aid. I mean, it could cause a major problem still if we're gonna spend the money. You know, let's get a generator and let the thing run for a day if it's got to, right?
Just on the system.
Just on the,
Not the building.
not the building, just the servers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the discussion we had the last time.
But how soon can we get that in here?
I don't know.
It's not, yeah, it's not
It's not that easy, I
that
understand.
easy, yeah. But yeah, it.
But what, we're not gonna keep throwing $8,000 on a hole, is what I'm
No,
getting at.
No.
agreed completely. I actually thought about, I asked the question if we can move the server or some component of the server to one of our substations where we have battery backup.
Right.
It's already there, it's established, we maintain it, and it's kind of a non-starter. So we're trying to think out of the box and see what the best solution is, but
And we think that's all it's gonna probably stay here, and, yeah, the generator makes the most sense. And then we were trying to tie to fix the entire cause of everything and reroute a lot of the signal so that's,
I'm thinking we could probably set that generator up in the police garage. That must have exhaust venting in there.
and we can probably keep it outside. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. You really want to keep it outside? It's pretty cold up here. I don't know, maybe, whatever.
yeah, I mean, placement wherever they say it can go, it'd be an auto.
How big of a deal is gonna be to wiring something like that, Bill?
well, once again, it really depends. If you're just looking to power up a server, I mean, quite frankly, we could come over and darn near hotwire the thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we could, it doesn't take much.
So it's a matter of getting the generator, figuring out what we need.
Yeah, if you're looking at, like, actually, I think the thought was years ago, getting FEMA money to put a standby generator as a crisis control center.
Okay.
Now you're talking big money.
Yeah.
You're talking $60,000,
Right.
you know, you got, it would be a humanitarian type shelter that you'd need all that. So there's somewhere in between there is where we'd be looking at, having a hot wired Honda or a generator that runs the whole building.
There's one sitting on the highway right now. I'm not kidding you. The old meat processor up there, he's got one of those.
I think it's huge, yeah.
And it's still sitting there. And I bet you could get it for nothing. The bank's got that. I mean, you could make an offer to those people that bought that building and how much they paid for it. So, it's just an idea again, if you want to go down that path, you might be able to.
Well, even if we go with this 8,000 here, we have in-house labor that we gotta do with this.
Yeah.
We gotta put it out, you know, switch the amp, so
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, we can look at, I mean, if you guys are interested in just moving forward with, you know, the generator to run that server room, and we can come back with quotes on just that, it would probably be like a natural gas, you know, enough to run certain parts of them, probably
The
10 to
batteries aren't running the whole building anyways, are they?
No,
No,
God,
they're
no.
just running that.
The servers are getting 2 hours. That's all it's got.
Yeah, they're just a
No,
battery.
There's no reason that we gotta power up the whole building, just the servers, so we don't lose that.
So our biggest worry right now is we get a nice storm and the power goes out for a while. And we're kind of screwed, right? So that's the problem we have. We have an immediate need to give us time to actually fix this the right way it sounds like the council wants to fix it. So I don't know how to not, I don't know
How
what that
long
looks like.
wait time on this?
They've got some in stock now. I think when this happened the last time, which wasn't necessarily from a surge, it was just they were left, their lifespan was over. I don't think we expected, because we had talked about this whole redo, but I don't think we expected that a surge would destroy what we bought. We
You
were
need,
working
can you go back and check the
Yeah,
records
because I
with
feel
them?
like something happened that time.
I thought, they were, we
Wasn't it
replaced
over
these.
here by the building? Remember, there was something that happened over by your shop, by the,
Oh, this summer?
was that this?
That was
That's
this
a
summer.
transformer.
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wasn't, that,
that wasn't connected to this?
no,
That knocked out.
No.
So that did knock these out. It was the recent one at Christmas Eve that knocked these out.
yes.
But I think what Kenny's getting at, I think we just replaced those
Yeah,
within the
we
last few
replaced, we
years.
replaced a component of the UPS. I don't know if it's, I don't know what he's got down there, if it's the whole, if there's several components and this is like the mothership. I don't know what
I
he's
think
got,
Christie's are coming to talk to us.
but
My 2 cents.
I think,
Should've came in.
once again,
Yeah,
I
he
think
should've
there's
been
some middle ground here. It might be, to
Yeah, I
your
just asked him
credit,
to give me his kind of.
going with a smaller UPS and a hot wired Honda.
That's what I think. I think if we need a bandage fix right now and get the real fix in place, I don't want to spend this kind of money as we move towards a more permanent solution.
Well, the issue with, I mean, we need a solution that when the power goes out, it continues to run without us having to come here to do it, because.
Well, no, yeah. It'd still be hooked up in the system and would kick once the generator's in place, it would bring it up.
Right.
We understand we need a Band-Aid fix in the meantime, but maybe we can spend $2,000 and, just give us something, I'm just looking for something we're not spending $8,000, like, and as
Well,
Scott
yeah.
said, and plus on top of it, what it's gonna cost, in labor, to get this thing in place that's gonna give us 2 hours of,
I think we have an
Of runtime.
hour or two, because we bumped it up with that last purchase of these, because we had that, but,
Because this seems like it must be something else, a little better or something. For some reason.
well, there's 2 of them.
It does also say in here, Jeff, it just says there is an internal switch within the UPS, so it must not be modular.
that's goofy.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. And I know on Christmas Eve, what City Hall saw was a recloser operation, so the lights would have gone out and back on. That's what City Hall experienced.
Yeah, it wasn't a long,
It was not an
quick.
outage, like, not like you'd think.
Where was that at?
Believe it or not, it was in Vulcan.
I know.
It blinked the whole system, because it was a tree literally laid on the whole phase, and the whole system saw it, and the main sub reclosed. So,
I noticed we got one quote only on this.
Yeah, that's what Chris provided.
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you can, give us some time to get a couple other ideas back.
Do you guys wanna look at, like, so we can come back with, like, the actual generator option, but that's gonna be probably 10 to 20.
That's a total guess, though, we don't know.
No.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can pick up, remember, you're talking about a generator that's just gotta run some servers. We're not talking about some monster generator. Like you said, if it's the building, it's one thing, but we're just looking at running some file servers off this thing. I can see these things right here, I'm looking, you're talking 3,000, 2.7 kilowatt, 3,000 volts.
I'm sure our insurance company will have something to say about that.
If they cover that.
Yeah, they may not. They may
Usually
not.
electrical, usually power outages, they don't touch them. If it's, what do they call it? Acts of God.
Act of God.
Acts of God, unless
Well,
unless a tornado or
Yeah,
something like that.
but I'm saying the system that we try to hardwire or
They're not covered.
that we try to rig in.
We would definitely do it, they're out there, is what I'm saying. This is not something that we're just trying to, hotwire and Scott, there's systems out
people
there.
that have
Right,
this and,
yes.
yeah, you can put a
So it would be a
chip.
legit system. I'm just trying to figure out how not to spend $8,000, while we get to that system in the meantime.
What are the chances that this is gonna be an insurance claim?
I'd say slim and none.
We can ask.
Our deductible's more than $8,000.
This is
Aaron?
1,000
It says 1,000.
Our deductible's 1,000?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, for this type of,
First page.
That's interesting.
it may not be worth,
Well, that would be pretty easy then. Get an insurance claim in if they cover it. You can
well,
do
yeah, I
this.
mean, that's
and
what we were,
Yeah.
kind of,
Dual track.
For $1,000, and we
Let's
can
try
plan
to
it
get
the right way on
that
the
while we're,
generator.
Still say, yeah,
Oh, heck, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we all agree there.
It's 2 hours, it's just not.
No.
And plus, we already played this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we,
And how'd it work for us?
Yeah,
I
how
mean-
did that work for us?
because we talked about doing the generator, but I think the consensus at that time was the cost was, we were gonna wait for.
But I think that was for the whole shebang.
Yeah, there's some place in between there. The generator conversation was had really during, when we were working on the emergency action plans. You know, what's it look like when a tornado comes through town? Where do people go to shelter and stuff like that? That's what's caused that conversation.
And great, if he wants to give us $100,000 to do something like that down the line, fine. But in the meantime, we gotta take care of our stuff, our mission critical stuff. Right?
Okay. All right, so are we just gonna table that, or?
Yeah, what kind of is the direction I mean, we can, I can get more clarification on these actual UPSs beyond what he kind of thinks happened. And then if you guys want us to come back with just a couple possible options, I mean, we're not gonna, anything we do needs to be, obviously needs to be installed professionally, and we can't just kind of.
So Scott, you got an hour.
Get it done, all right.
No, I'm just kidding, but that's about what he got, right?
Right now,
Yeah.
something happens 10 minutes
I
from
think
now,
we
we've got an
We
hour.
have an hour.
That's great.
This
I
system
don't
gives
think
us
we have
2?
any.
We had three.
Three.
Total.
I don't think we have,
Upped it to three.
I'm under the impression we have 0 right now.
Right now?
That scares me.
That's the impression I'm under, because he's saying the switch isn't working. The transfer switch is inoperable.
I
Can
thought
you,
it was for those
can you
like
manually
units.
turn it on, though, is the question. That's what you gotta find
I
out.
thought that was like in each unit.
Usually you can manually turn them on.
I don't know.
Chris needs to take what he wrote here and get in front of our insurance carrier first and foremost and say, this is what happened.
Well, we need to know if the switch is working first, because we can't have a power outage.
I'll call
We're gonna
Chris
lose
after. I'm
everything.
pretty sure. I thought we had one
That's
left
what we
that was
need to do.
working.
Okay, I mean, that easily could be, I'm not sure.
I thought these two that broke, those internal switches on those is what fried,
Okay.
so they couldn't flip. But the one we had left was still functioning.
Okay, that easily could be. Like I said, that Christmas Eve, we didn't even test it, because it was out for probably less than a second.
Right.
It was just enough to turn the lights off and back on.
I just don't wanna lose everything. We can't lose.
Well, yeah, quite frankly, if we, this is the game of Russian roulette we play with these things, is when it comes to the hydro, if it causes the hydro to dump offline, because we didn't spend $8,000, it could be $70,000
Right
like
there.
that.
Well, what we can, I mean, we can probably relatively quickly get a basic quote to do the automated generator. You know, it's gonna be more of a, you don't need the giant commercial one, you can probably do what someone would get for their house, maybe even smaller, but, it's gotta be the automated, just like you'd have for your house. That would
Like
power off
Gentex or something they're called,
Yeah.
something like that,
Right.
right? It's that
I
same
know
system.
MJ puts them in
Right,
houses and everything.
exactly, Ken.
I
It's
think
it's a great system.
I think that we need more explanation, because if this is a switch, I don't care if you're going with a generator or not, you're still gonna have to replace it.
Yeah, well, agreed, because a generator doesn't kick on instantaneously.
This switch, it's the switch that actually flips it.
Yeah.
From live feed to battery feed. If that's the case, you still need this switch even to go to a generator.
Yeah, and what's
So-
throwing me, Brett, is basically, these things are, your surge is there to protect the infrastructure from this exact thing happening. I know stuff happens, but I'd like to see because the same thing could happen to a generator, for instance, right? If you don't have a good enough surge protection in place, well, that strike could, knock that out too. It can happen, but I'm just saying, that's kind of what I'm thinking is,
And that's what I mean, I'd just like a better explanation, like,
Yeah.
why weren't we protected from a surge?
Right.
Why did that happen?
we did a
Well,
lot
I'll
of
talk to
stuff.
Chris tomorrow, and I can try to send you guys an updated email just as soon as I get it, so you kind of have that, and then,
Be a good resource for this too, is Corey
yeah.
Heigl. We used to set these things up all the time for cable companies and their head ends and things like that.
Right.
He might be able to shed some light on it too, if we need another opinion on what to do here.
Yeah, so I'll get an explanation from Chris, on what power time we have right now. And then exactly, you know, if we have a battery that's working now, then I'm assuming the switch is, you know, will be fine. I thought it was internally for each of those.
If that's all down,
Batteries.
you're gonna have to get something to us, and we're gonna have to call a special meeting, because we can't take that chance.
Agreed.
Cannot do
We
it.
have already taken the chance for
Right.
14 or whatever, 11 days.
That makes me think it's not what we fear.
That's what I'm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you
Hopefully.
more explanation this week when I talk to him, and then we'll start working on other possible options. Generator probably being
Yeah.
the one.
All right, we'll move on to mayor council comments. Scott?
I just have, our city website, we go pay your bills and everything, is our newsletter on there also? I've had some complaints about our website's not the easiest to pay bills online. And that there's no information, there's really no information on it.
I don't know if the newsletter is on there. I think the pay bill is right on the home screen, but I'll look.
You know, like people
At
are,
that.
some people are complaining about the garbage, because holiday season, you know, like that could be input on the website, you know, the times have changed.
Yep, that stuff I
You know,
try to get on
just
Facebook.
This type, that
Yep.
stuff, if we're paying somebody to do our website, correct? When we have something.
Not real,
Not that.
not that.
No, not updates.
Not updates.
So we're actually gonna have, I just spoke to Levi's, who is our host that created it. Me, Trish, and Jamie are gonna be getting training in January for how to update it more, and then they told me in the spring, summer, we're due for an update. So we'll be looking at the website and making changes to it, kind of based on public comment and your comments in the summer.
Okay.
So, let me look, I thought on the homepage there was a pay my bill kind of thing, but I'll look at that.
Okay.
And for updates like garbage, I try to get that on Facebook first, but all that should probably go on both.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing to put it on both, you know. Because some people don't look at their bills, they're just paying online. And
Right.
not everybody has social media.
Yeah, and you probably ain't gonna be able to get the newsletter on there, because that's a different,
I mean, we can
we
put it
can
on.
put it on our webpage.
We can put it on there.
Put it at the PDF. or
Yeah, we can put it
Yeah.
on there. I'm just not sure if we have or not.
Okay.
something. Yeah. That's all I got.
Right,
I have nothing, thank you.
Jeff?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Couple things. Old business. I know one of the things that's still out there is the cable TV system. We talked about that a lot in the past, and nothing got done again. I don't know where you're at with that, my friend, as far as getting Corey and me and you in a room and starting looking at some options here, but either when you have to make a decision to, put some money in that system, or, the other option is that we've talked about. So I just want to bring that back up to everybody's attention. I know we talked about the water credit here recently. Thanks to Brock for bringing us that information, but it seems to me like it seems to me that that system has nothing came of it. Much bigger issues in the water system than a summer water credit, right, from a lofts revenue standpoint. So I'd like to get that back up for 2023 here. New revenue streams, obviously some of the stuff that we talked about, especially the cable TV system, if something does happen with that, where we're gonna make up revenue, how we can get new revenue in the city. We know we had a real tough budget session this last year, and I think we all know it's only gonna get tougher. And last but not least, just in that spirit, I find that things that pop up seem to kind of just over time get washed out and they don't get brought back around. So I'd like to have some kind of better system in place for overall ongoing updates and solutions to some of these bigger and long-term issues that we do have. So, we all got day jobs, and it's just nice for us to get slapped upside the head once in a while to remind us that these things are still out there, and we have to find time to make a priority of them. And I want to welcome you back, buddy, because you were missed. I can tell you that. Thank you.
I hope everybody had a safe holiday season, and remember the parking ban, try to shovel for the kids. I know, Scott, this is usually your thing.
What about the Menegini guy over here?
So,
The middle child.
when the kids are walking to school, Be careful. Welcome back, Scott. And that's all I have. Rico, did I miss you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I forgot about the
I'm
Genie.
just, I'm just gonna keep moving.
I'm sorry. Did you have anything?
Nothing. Great to see
Not even
Scott
a
back
goal-
as well.
Not even a goal line.
And a full council.
Yes.
Nice to see that too.
Thank you.
Dan?
Nothing at this time.
Grant?
Nothing, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Captain? Nope. Nothing? All right. Right now, I need a motion, we're going into closed session for MCL 15.26, Section 8, City Manager Evaluation and
Litigation.
litigation,
And that's pursuant to 1A and 1E.
1A and 1E. Closed session. And we won't be coming back out to making any decisions, we'll just come out and adjourn. Do you have a motion?
Support.
Brew,
Yes?
Kramer,
Yes.
Minigini,
Yes.
Mararo.
Yes. Good seeing you, Mayor.
So I
Bye.
gotta cut that off.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Natalie.
Oh, you got it, Natalie?
It was perfect. It was
Bye,
on the
Mayor.
audience all night.
I couldn't figure out that other camera's like pointing straight down, it wouldn't move.
I was watching last week too, and there was no audio.
I said it doesn't work anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It seems fine when you watch it on YouTube.
But not if you watch it on the TV, because
Not
I'm
if you
getting
watch it
yelled
on
at from the people, yeah. Did she get it off from there?
Wow, I just need to go on YouTube.
We've been trying to kind of push people there, but it's just not everyone's platform, you know?
Hey, it's good to see you all, by the way.
Mr. Swear.
What did I say?